Hello, everyone, and welcome to Patrick's Pitch. I'm Patrick Cunningham, and here with me is my roommate, Kaysen Pereira.
Hello.
So, Kaysen, to start us off, where are you from?
So I'm from a small island in the Indian Ocean called Sri Lanka.
Okay, so you're from Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
So that's clearly a little bit different here.
Mm-hmm.
So, in America, sports are really big, obviously.
Yeah.
Is there like a major big sports world in Sri Lanka?
I mean it is, but we have only one main sport that is cricket, because that's the only sport we are good at. So yeah, that's our main sport.
Okay, so do you guys, in the U.S., we have players like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant that kids look up to and
Yeah.
want to be like. Are there athletes back in Sri Lanka? Are there like cricket players who are like a Kobe Bryant equivalent?
I mean there are. So cricket is played mainly in South Asia and a few parts of Europe, Australia, and Africa. It's cricket is mainly popular in India, which is the biggest market for cricket. They have like 1.2 billion people, and it's a huge market. From Sri Lanka, we have a few great players. To name some of them, there's one guy called Sangakkara. He's one of the best batsmen. Batsman is a part of the sport. Then we have other players like someone called Muttaya Muralidharan. So he's also one of the greats. He actually has one of the best records in the game. Um, so these are like some players from Sri Lanka, but there are other great players from India called another guy called Sachin Tendulkar. He's also one of the greats. Australia has a lot of greats. UK has a lot of greats. Yeah, so many countries have good players.
Is there like a league inside of Sri Lanka that
Mhm.
teams play in, or do you guys
So-
play strictly international against other teams?
So we strictly play international. They are like the most viewed games when Sri Lanka plays another international country. And we do have domestic leagues, but they are not as big. But India has a very big league, so it's like the NBA in India. It's called the IPL, the Indian Premier League, and the best players from all the countries come into India to play for that league.
So Sri Lanka has a good standing in the Indian League from representation from your country.
We used to have a very good representation, but now we've been in the decline for the past few years. So currently not many, but the Indian League is a big league. There's also a few other leagues like the Caribbean Premier League, which is played in like Jamaica, Barbados, and all these places. There's also another big league in Australia. It's called the Big Bash League. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite athlete, like from Sri Lanka?
Mm-hmm. So I mean, my favorite player is Kumar Sangakkar. I grew up watching him play, and he's definitely my like sporting hero back home. But when it comes to like let's say NBA, my favorite player is Kevin Durant.
Is Kevin Durant?
Uh huh.
So you mentioned just the switching to the U.S. Like you just instantly named off a big athlete. Is there a lot of like NBA representation and fans back home in Sri Lanka?
So the country is not. A certain parts of the country is wealthy, and people have access to foreign media and foreign sports like basketball, football, and soccer, and all that stuff. I would say literally like 1% actually watch basketball. Very little population. Soccer is kind of big, a bit bigger than basketball. American football is not big at all. But yeah, the rest everyone watches cricket. That's the main sport.
So in the U.S., you go into big cities like Chicago and you see these massive basketball courts where kids grow up just playing on these courts and end up getting big and playing in the NBA. Is there like an equivalent to that of Sri Lankan cricket? Are there kids like playing cricket in the street growing up their whole lives?
Yeah, so everyone plays cricket in the backyards. So there's a very good structure to cricket. It's just like college recruiting and stuff like that. You start playing for your school, and then you keep on playing until you go to college. But the different thing with cricket in Sri Lanka is that you don't go to college. You go to like a club. You play for a club rather than go to college. you play for a club, and there's a domestic season where all the clubs participate, and the top players then get selected to play for the national team.
That's it's a very similar sort of system.
It is pretty similar.
Minus the whole college situation.
Yeah, so that is because we don't have many colleges. We have very limited colleges, and they're mainly academic based. They don't have they're not known for their sports.
You don't have massive lane stadiums and
No.
Enter Sandman back home.
No, we don't have massive stadiums for college games. We do have massive stadiums for international games, but not for college games. No.
So going off of that, there's definitely a interesting sports culture in the fandom here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Like you walk into a football game and you see fans with their chest painted and
Yeah.
like crazy wigs
Uh-huh.
and face paint. Are fans like that back
Yeah,
home?
they are like that. Yes. So the wig thing is very big because one of our greatest players, his name is Lasith Malinga. He has a really afro kind of like blonde and brown mixed hair.
Just
and
wild.
Like,
just
yeah,
go.
just wild.
I'll try to throw up a picture somewhere
Yeah, you
around
should.
here.
You should. So people love to buy his wigs and go for the games, and face painting is huge. And other thing is, Sri Lanka, especially our fans are known. We go in as a band, so someone will take the drums, someone will take the trumpets, someone will take the cymbals, and there's like a party inside the ground.
It's just massive noise.
Yeah,
and
it's a
blast.
lot of noise, different sounds coming from different parts of the stadium. Yeah,
That sounds like a lot of fun. And
it is fun.
It does sort of sound like one of those big sporting events here in the U.S. Like, of course, like not everyone's playing the drums like,
Yeah.
in Lane Stadium, but you have like the band section. You have everyone just
Yep.
shaking their keys.
Mhm.
It's an interesting transition almost.
It is. It is. And it in cricket it's different from country to country. So like Sri Lanka, it's very loud and it's like a party atmosphere. But when you go to the UK and play cricket, everyone comes into the game with suits and ties, and it's more formal. You know, you just sit, drink cup of coffee or tea, and watch the game. So it's a big contrast from country to country.
It's like different languages within sports almost.
Because England started cricket, and they call it the gentleman sport. So where all the higher class people would play it. Higher class meaning like socially higher class. So their enjoyment of cricket is going to the game dressed up, drinking cup of coffee and watching the game, rather than having a party atmosphere.
So a party atmosphere. You actually told me about how you got to go to the Western Conference Finals last season.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What was that like? And it clearly doesn't seem all that different from a Sri Lankan cricket match almost.
It is not. One thing that's different between a cricket stadium and a basketball stadium is that the basketball stadiums are covered, like they're like domes, but the cricket stadiums are more open and obviously larger because the ground is much larger than the basketball court. But going to the Warriors NBA Finals last year, the Western Conference Finals, it was insane because the Warriors atmosphere was amazing. Every fan is so interacted with the game, and the support for the Warriors was unreal, and I really enjoyed that game. Yeah,
It definitely seems like there was connections to a cricket match back home.
There's definitely connections just because the amount of support the Warriors got, and the sound, how loud the stadium was during the game, and every play was a memorable play.
It really shows how sports is a language and can really connect people, and we're really just all the same for the most part. Whether we drink our tea or paint our chest, which I think is pretty cool amongst different countries.
I think so too, and like one thing that sport has helped Sri Lanka as a nation is that we've been having a civil war for like 30 years, which finished like in 2010. So until then, like cricket was one thing that brought the whole country together. We had a civil war against with like Tamil people. Tamil is another race, and Sinhalese is one race. This conflict was really detrimental to the country. So many millions of hundreds of thousands of people died because of this. But cricket was one thing that brought the country closer.
That's really cool to see with
Mhm.
people coming together as one group of people.
Mhm.
Whether you're in a small country like Sri Lanka or in a massive society like the U.S. is.
Yep.
So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Patrick Cunningham, and this is my guest, Kaysen Pereira.
Thank you.